Hey everybody, welcome to The Dark Stuff. It's me, Dave Splash here. This is my channel. I'm the host of the channel to the extent that I do any hosting. Here I have a great video for you. It covers a bunch of stuff. I have some video of some bands that I saw last night. I have a bunch of records that I've gotten recently, some brand new stuff. I also have some books that I've gotten that I'm really excited about reading. I just cracked the surface on one of them, and I just didn't want to put it down until I basically fell asleep in my chair. But I'm going to start off with something a little bit different because this was something that happened to me that's pretty unique and pretty interesting. So about a week ago, March 4th, 2016, former President Bill Clinton, former President of the United States, I know this is international, Bill Clinton, came to Omaha, Nebraska and spoke at my brother's bar, the Waiting Room.
The lowest inflation in healthcare cost. We are the best positioned country for the future because we're younger and more diverse than any other country. I mean, look at this crowd in Omaha. If I'd given this speech here 40 years ago,
in some sort of like rally to get people excited for Hillary Clinton, there was a Nebraska caucus the next day, Saturday, March 5th. Now, I don't care about your politics, and I'm not asking you what they are. I don't care, and I'm not going to talk about mine. Suffice to say, if you had the opportunity to be in the same room with and possibly meet a former president of the United States, and you're an American, I think you probably would, take that opportunity. So when I found out that President Clinton was going to be coming to my brother's bar, I tried to get it so I could get a picture with him or something. It didn't happen. Ultimately, my brother and his business partner, the two owners of the bar, got their picture taken with him, and some local VIPs like mayors and city council, or no, the mayor's a Republican. Some members of the city council and stuff got their picture taken. But as you see from these pictures I'm posting, I was very close. So I was in the back office, and he spoke in one bar, the Waiting Room, and then because there was an overflow crowd in a different place called the Reverb around the corner, he cut through in the middle and then went into the other bar to say hello to people, shake some hands and whatever before taking off. It was a pretty cool event, it was very exciting. I was glad that I got to experience it. The president said my brother's name from the stage, thanked him from the stage, and it was very cool. So there you go. There's my little bit of politics. That's not an endorsement of anyone or any kind of a political statement. I'm just saying, a former president of the United States, I stood like this close to him, and I think that's worth noting. Okay, so back on the musical thing, I saw a couple of bands last night. Segall, which I think I talked about in my last video. I showed his newest record, Emotional Mugger, and he's out with his band who billed as the Emotional Muggers. So it's Segall and the Emotional Muggers, and they were out on tour with a band last night called Feels. And I'd never heard of Feels, to tell you the truth. And I got there, and they were already playing. And I checked them out, and I really dug it. It was a four-piece band, 3 women, 1 guy on drums. They had some elements where they were sort of loud and noisy, and others where they were like kind of poppy, and then other stuff where they were just like kind of revved up punk rock. And I ended up really liking their set, and I went back and I bought their album from them here, which just came out this year. It's self-titled, Feels. So I just got it last night, haven't had a chance to listen to it, so I don't know, what it really sounds like. I imagine it's kind of like what they were like live. footage isn't great because of the fact that I didn't really get very close because it was a pretty good crowd and I wasn't feeling that great, so I didn't want to merge up there. Ben also gave me a little button as a thank you for buying the album, so good stuff from those guys. Ty Segall, of course, was great. Let's start off with the books because there's a book tie-in to one of the CDs that I have also. So, not this one, but I got this book on the Stooges. It's called The Authorized and Illustrated Story of the Stooges. It's fantastic. I got it at Half Price Books for like $8. It's obviously been out for a little while. Really high gloss, high photo, high quality. I have other books on the Stooges, but the reason why I got this one was because it features the entire career of the Stooges, including when they reunited, you know, whatever, 10 years ago or something, with Mike Watt playing bass. And Mike Watt's always been a personal hero of mine, so I thought that was extra cool. Now, the two reunion albums that the Stooges did together, one as the Stooges, one as Iggy and the Stooges, both sucked. They were terrible. But live, they still kind of brought it in terms of seeing them, you know, live again. So I think it was cool that they got back together. The book includes photos of the Mike Watt era, and when they brought back James Williamson for the Iggy and the Stooges version. So it's complete, is basically what I'm saying. And now Iggy's the only guy left alive from the original version of the Stooges. It's kind of nuts. And the other book I got, this is the one that I cannot put down, Trouble Boys, The True Story of the Replacements. This is just unfucking real, you know? It's so good. I have other books on the Replacements, but they don't feature the cooperation of the band. There's one that's like a photo history that's really fantastic, but it doesn't really have much involvement from the band. It has old quotes and stuff like that, and quotes from friends and scenesters and stuff, and other books do that too. There's another sort of oral history of the band that features everybody but the band, and then quotes from magazines and previous interviews that kind of weave into the story. Trouble Boys is the first one where Paul Westerberg, Tommy Stinson, everybody that's still alive and around cooperated, and it covers from the very, very beginning, their pre-replacement lives, through their solo careers and all the stuff they were doing up into the reunion and beyond. And that's where the beyond part is where we tie into some of the new stuff that I've got. I picked up this new CD from the I Don't Cares, okay? The I Don't Cares is a band featuring Paul Westerberg from the Replacements and Juliana Hatfield, who you know from the 90s, or she was a rock star in the 90s. She still makes great music today, less high profile than it was in the 90s. She also was in a band called the Blake Babies in the late 80s, early 90s, and this is their new collaboration. And apparently, yes, okay, Paul and Juliana are dating, and thumbs up to Paul, because I've always loved Juliana Hatfield ever since the first time I saw her in the Blake Babies, and I loved her, appreciated her talent, and also love the fact that she is just super beautiful and everything. And so those two are a couple. And they've made this record together called Wild Stab, and their band is called the I Don't Cares. And it's really, really great. It's recorded in Paul's basement, in his garage, or his basement studio. It's real garage rock, but it's Paul writing really great stuff. And apparently Juliana Hatfield's role in this is, it's not a traditional collaboration where the two of them write songs together. Paul has archives, tapes and tapes, hours and hours and hours of tapes of stuff he just records in his garage but doesn't do anything with. Juliana got permission to go through the tapes, find what she likes, bring them to Paul and say, this is what you should work on. This is what you should finish. She will add parts. She'll put vocals on. She'll put backup vocals. And she gets him to finish this stuff. And that's why this is like a really, really, really great album. So solid, solid stuff. I'm so happy for Paul Westerberg to be making great music again. And that book, Trouble Boys, is so fucking solid. I'm only like 50 pages in, but if I had the free time, I think I could read it all by the end of this weekend, because it's so good, and it seems very, very well written, and just the fact that the band is included in it, or is wanted to be involved in it for the first time, is pretty significant. So there you go. As far as some music that I've gotten recently that I'll show you here on this one, we'll start with this Aerosmith live record. It's a bootleg, of course, recorded March 20th, 1973 at a place called Paul's Mall in Boston. And it was a radio broadcast on WCBN in Boston in 1973. And it is fucking awesome. It's a period of Aerosmith where I've never really listened to them live before. I think their first album maybe had come out, or maybe was on the verge of coming out, because they do say Columbia recording artists. But it's early. I mean, very, very early stuff. It's got stuff off the first album and a lot of cover songs. Mother Popcorn by James Brown is on there. It is really, really good. Sound quality's good. The band sounds amazing. Also, while I was at Half Price Books, I picked up this M. Ward 7-inch for Primitive Girl.
She's a primitive girl, don't like to boast. From a natural head to a natural toes, the girl's got a lot, what they call the most.
So this was a single in 2012 from M. Ward, and M. Ward, or Matt Ward, is a recording artist in his own right, but he's also a producer and has produced a lot of great albums over the years from a number of people. He's a member of She and Him with Zooey Deschanel, the actress. He's the him in She and Him, obviously. And I got this, and then, sort of by coincidence, M. Ward released a brand new album, which is this here. It's his first album in like 5 years. It's called More Rain, and it's recorded over a period of the last 2 or 3 years. Some of it recorded here in Omaha at ARC Studios with Mike Mogus, who's a member of Bright Eyes. And along with that, because it's a promo, got a little poster from M. Ward. So that's cool. So new M. Ward, I've listened to it. It's mellow. It's very good though. It's always M. Ward's stuff is usually pretty chill. He has this kind of throaty, kind of mellow voice, and it's really solid stuff. This next group, Tao and the Get Down Stay Down, is a band from San Francisco featuring this woman, Tao Nguyen, and she is really, really talented, really, really great. Her last album, which I thought was their debut, but it wasn't, it was like maybe their third album. I've never in the history of my radio show gotten more of a response to a particular track than when I played this song called We the Common by Tao Nguyen, Tao and the Get Down Stay Down 3 or 4 years ago. And I've seen her live. She played at the Maha Music Festival here. It was excellent. The new album, A Man Alive, has finally come out. It is so fucking good. This group has such a unique sound. They don't sound like any other current artist or past artist. There are elements here and there you'll pick out, but basically this is one of the few indie artists that is really coming at it from a completely unique perspective, yet still remains tuneful and not, you know, in experimental mode where it's just unlistenable stuff. And speaking of the radio show, I just wanted to check this out. I am now going to be able to record the show here live in the bunker, my basement, because I finally got the new microphone, Electro Voice EV20, the choice of broadcasters everywhere. So I'm going to be recording the radio show from this point forward here in this place. So FYI. Now when you listen to the show, I mean, I guess that's the giveaway that it's pre-recorded, but I've been doing that for the past like 9 months. I haven't done a live show in over 9 months, and now I'm going to be recording them from home from this point forward. So there you go, secret's out. Okay, other new music. Not a Surf has a brand new album, You Know Who You Are. Great band. These guys have been around since the mid-90s. This is the first album, though, that features Doug Gillard, so they now have a 4th member.
I shut down. I don't know why. Thought I didn't need another star in the sky.
Doug Gillard spent a lot of time in Guided by Voices, and he was a big partner with Robert Pollard. So it's exciting. I just got it. I love every Not a Surf album except their debut album, High Low, which I think is too overproduced, and I don't like I just don't like it. But I like every other Not a Surf album in existence. I'm sure this one's going to be good. I'm excited about the Doug Gillard element because he's super cool anyway, so for them to add in another guy, that's pretty good. Next up, this is a 3 CD collection from Tanya Donnelly, and it's called the Swan Song series. And what this collection does, you see it's 3 discs, is collect a number of EPs that she was calling the Swan Song series, which does more than imply that she's going to retire.
Aren't you tired of trying to figure out where you fit in? Just let it come.
Apparently, although she just announced that her old band Belly is back together, so I don't know. Anyways, it collects all of the old EPs from the Swan Song series into one source. Now, I haven't heard all of this. I've heard 2 or 3 of the series, but now I have all of it. It's really, really good. I love Tanya Donnelly. I've always been a fan of her music and had a tiny little crush on her ever since she was the younger sort of stepsister of Kristen Hirsch in the band Throwing Muses. And when she always had like maybe 2 songs on any given Throwing Muses album, and then the rest of the album would be Kristen's. And then of course she left and helped form the Breeders. Eventually left the Breeders because she wasn't going to get anywhere in terms of her own stuff in that group with Kim Deal. Made her own group Belly, and that was the band that she really had her most success with. That's the band that's now getting back together apparently. They did 2 records. She's been a solo artist ever since, but this is a really nice collection. What I've listened to so far, excuse me, I've really, really liked. And Tanya Donnelly keeps the quality level very high. I don't know if it's 100%. Like I said, I've only heard some of this, but based on her past work and the fact that this is a collection over a couple years, I think it's pretty solid. The rest of these are just kind of older things that I got. Well, this is it was brand new to me, but it's the Music of the Small Faces. It's called The Immediate Recordings. It's 18 songs. It was like $5.99 at half-price books, so I grabbed that. I picked up this used retrospective, The Best of Suzanne Vega. I did really like her in the 80s, up to about maybe 88, 80, well, maybe into the early 90s when she had that song 99.9 degrees Fahrenheit.
99.9 Fahrenheit degrees, stable now with rising possibility.
And that was probably like the last single that I really liked of hers, but I can't say that I've heard everything she's done since then, so it would be misleading to say that, oh, I've heard it all and I just didn't like it. No, but it has Luca and Tom's Diner and most of her hits, and that 99 Degrees song. Debut album for Madonna. Used to have this as a kid. Saw it for like $4. Figured, why not, you know. Everybody,
come on, dance and sing.
most of this is good stuff. And the last thing in today's video, I guess, will be this 2-disc set from Elvis Costello. It's from his classical period. It's Elvis Costello and the Metropole Orchestra, some sort of orchestra. It's a 2-disc set. The second disc is all classical music that Elvis wrote. I didn't even listen to it. I don't care. It's just for my Costello collection. This stuff, I tried listening to the first disc, which is him singing with the classical group, and it was like, when he does like older classic Costello songs like Almost Blue and Clubland and stuff, It's better, but I mean, far from great. So, you know, it's okay. Nothing special. All right, everybody, that pretty much wraps it up. Hope you dug this video. I will be talking to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.